If you need help, please press 1.
So, Sarah, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, tell me how, the process of when we first met online and the discussion, how you felt about that.
Um, like, what do you mean?
Like when I first hit your inbox and kind of engage in conversation, like what was going, like, talk about when we first met, when we first started messaging. And
Okay, so
you can talk a little loud if you want to.
we matched, although so we met on OkCupid. Had tried the whole in-person thing, but life was very repetitive at the time. It was work, gym, home, church, repeat. And so I was like, let me try this. So I tried it and um a lot of crazies, well, not crazies, but just random people out there. And so I didn't meet everyone, obviously, but we matched and I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. And so he messaged me first. I almost didn't message him back because it showed we had zero compatibility. And I was like, I don't have time to be wasting. I wanted something that was going to be real and not just a waste of my time, energy, and effort. I was already 32 at the time. So it's not like I had time on my hands. But so, yeah, he messaged me. I messaged him back. We messaged back and forth for a while. And then I was kind of over the whole online dating thing. So I pretty much was like, hey, I'm deleting this. Here's my number. Call, text me, whatever. If not, it's been great talking to you, getting rid of this account. And I did. And long story short, he ended up texting me. So we just started texting and then we called. I think I asked to call you or vice versa. And so the main thing that was great about Ramon was that he actually engaged in full blown conversations. And it wasn't like, what are you doing? Or hey, um, it was like legit conversations, which I loved.
And so when that was going on, and what made you decide to kind of ask about going out to dinner?
Well, there comes a time that like, what are we doing? Like, I don't want to just be having I use the word relationship very loosely, a relationship online. Like at some point, people have to meet up and see if they're compatible in person. So I was like, hey, I don't want to waste my time. So I didn't say that to him at the time, but I was like, do you want to meet up for dinner sometime? And I'm still pretty convinced that had I not asked him, we would probably still be communicating online.
So, what was going on with you? What was going on in your life at the time, around the time we started kind of talking and halfway dating? The process of dating. What was going on in your personal life?
In my personal life, I had recently quit my job of 6 years, had kind of outgrown it. It was time to look for something else. I didn't tell him I had quit my job or that I was jobless at the time. My lease was up in Houston, and I was trying to decide whether I was going to stay in Houston and find another job or if I was going to move home to help my parents take care of my grandmother at the time. Um, but I chose to um, move in with some friends and very thankful that they allowed me to do that and ended up finding a new job and pretty much stayed after I spent the 4th of July weekend with him. And yeah,
So, speaking of Fourth of July, when you came back Fourth of July, do you remember what happened Fourth of July with me?
we went to dinner. We went to grab something small to eat. It wasn't like anything major. because I wanted to go see the fireworks. I love fireworks and he hates fireworks. He told me he was having, so we were there eating dinner. Then he mentioned something about having a toothache. I don't think I realized how bad it was. So we went to Walgreens. I got him some Orajel. And then we ended up parking somewhere to watch the fireworks. And then, like, later on, he told me that it was really, really bad. And yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the first times where like you see I was slumping your front seat.
Yes.
So, from there, we kicked it for throughout the summer. We was at Herman Park, right? So how was it, meeting up at Herman Park and spending time there at Buttermilk Outdoor?
So we literally lived on opposite sides of Houston. And if you know, you know, it was at least an hour drive to see each other if we would have gone to each other's habitats. And so we kind of made a decision to just meet at the park. And looking back, I must have really, really liked him because it was fucking hot in Houston, humid, and everything else. And we would be out there like at 5, 6 in the afternoon. We went to a lot of plays at Miller Outdoor Theater and then just kind of hung out around the park, just spending time with each other and getting to know each other.
Do you remember the first kiss?
Yes.
How was that moment for you and where was it?
I'm gonna cry. So our first kiss was at so if you're from Houston, you're very familiar. Outside of the museum district, there's these 3 beautiful water it's gonna rain. There's these 3 big, beautiful water fountains. Somehow we ended up walking over there. I remember sitting down on the ledge of one of them, and then he just kind of came up in front of me. I was sitting down, he was standing, and he kissed me. Kind of something like you'd see in the movies.
Yeah. And so, we was able to kick it throughout the summer. And what made you decide your major decision in August to say, okay, I think I'm gonna ask him to move forward in our relationship?
I was desperate. um, I felt like we had built a really good foundation. He likes to say we were friends, but if we were really friends, I wouldn't have been dating him. So I think we had, like I said, built a really good foundation. We were exclusive without ever really saying we were exclusive because I wasn't talking to anybody else at the time, and I didn't think he was either. We never really had that discussion, but I just really liked his personality, what he brought to the table, if you will. I think we got along really well. And yeah, I just wanted to see where this was going to go, how far we would get. And here we are 10 years later.
What do you think about when you first met my friends at the football opening night and then also when you did a surprise birthday party?
The football.
Remember we went to Trey's house on Thursday and also,
Oh, yeah.
but also like what was your thought process when you decided to get my friends for my birthday?
So I'm really big about birthdays and social gatherings. So I figured it'd be kind of cool to just call up who I thought were his hardcore best friends at the time. So he was still getting really to know AJ, which I didn't know. And so I decided to hit them up on Facebook because I don't even think we were Facebook friends yet. And told them that I wanted to take him out to dinner for his birthday and if they would like to join us. I'm sure Trey will never forget that night since I made fun of him for buying a minty drink. I'll leave it at that for you, Trey. And then over the time, like it was around football season was kicking off. Trey is a huge football person, as am I. So we would sometimes go over there and watch football with him. It was pretty cool. Just chill, laid back.
So, obviously we made our first trip together, happened to be, and we came to San Antonio. But what was the moment when, let's talk about when I first met your family. What happened during Thanksgiving?
So I invited Ramone home with me for Thanksgiving, which was about 6 hours from Houston. He had planned to go back home a few days afterwards for his 10-year high school reunion. So we drove up there. We get there, and I'm the oldest of 5. My family's of 7. And so there's some significant others already like in the family. Some are just dating. So we get there, but he kind of comes out to see who this guy is. we're in the kitchen area, and then all we smell is crap. So I'm like, what is that smell? Where's it coming from? So there's like some barn cats around the house, and apparently Ramone had stepped in their poop and dragged it in the house. So there was that already to begin with. And that was Wednesday night. And then Thanksgiving Day, we were cooking and everything. We finally sit down to enjoy dinner, say grace. I think my dad said grace at the time. And then he stands up saying, like, I would like to say something. Mind you, we'd only been really dating officially since August, so that's September, October, 3 months. My math sometimes doesn't
Did I
math.
stay? I don't think I stood up. I was just kind of
Or
like,
he
"Hey,
just
I
said
just wanna-"
something, I just want to say something. And so then everybody was like, oh my God, he's proposing. So sisters start pulling their phones out of their pockets, and everyone's freaking out. And I turn around and I look at him. His eyes are as big as plates. And I was like, great, they've scared this man away. And he's like, no, no, no. He's like, I'm just thankful that y'all opened your house up to me and, able to come and spend this day with y'all.
So I'm gonna get to fast forward because it's the only time I'll be able to catch you. Fast forward to the moment we finally decided to move in together, late 2016, going to 2017. What was your mind and the comfortability of doing that?
I was actually nervous. He's the first and only person I've ever lived with. I was excited, but I wasn't raised to live with anyone before I got married. So it was kind of awkward at the same time, but we found a place. We became interloopers of Houston, moved in, which was a process in itself. And then probably about a month into us living together, my poor grandmother passed away and I was laid off. So that was a huge challenge. But he pulled through and supported me. And yeah,
So 2019 happens. It was an interesting 2 years in between when, so now it's been 6 years since I proposed. Where was you and how did you feel in the moment being proposed to after that time being together?
one, I was happy. Two, I was annoyed because at the time I was taking a CDL class and I had been outside in the field in these trucks, hot, sweaty, and then tired because I did this after work. And then he calls me. He's like, "Hey, how about you meet me at the park tonight before you go home?" And I'm like, "I just want to get home." I'm like, "Gross. I want to take a shower. I just want to lay down and just veg out." And so he's like, "No, just come on." So then in my mind, I'm like thinking, I don't know, he probably doesn't believe me, but honest to God, I was like, is this actually happening? Is this finally going to happen? I get there and then I see him. He's all dressed nice and I'm looking a hot mess. And then, so there's this part in the park where we used to hang out a lot. There's like a rock wall and like these big boulders. And on one of the big boulders, he had a candle that he had lit. And so then I honestly don't remember what he said to me. I just remember saying, "Will you marry me?" And I was like, "Yes." And so, yeah, that's how it went down.
We finally get to our wedding after a couple pushbacks and events and so forth, unfortunately. So, how did you feel wedding night, with the wedding day and leading up to that day?
I'm really going to cry. So I was excited to get married, but I had also just lost my dad 3 months prior. So it was a lot of happiness and grief at the same time. So it was just a lot to process. But day of the wedding, I don't think I slept hardly but 3, 4 hours. So we had to be up early to do hair and makeup. And we started off the day and then we get to the chapel, and as organized as it was still very chaotic. It's not fair. Guys just get up, take a shower, get dressed. They don't have to do everything else that's behind the scenes. And so I just remember coming down and the doors were closed and then they opened the doors so that I could walk in. And then, of course, everybody and their mom just turns around and stares at you. I was happy and excited to see him at the end up at the altar, but I was also sad because the man who I loved first was not there to walk me down the aisle. So it was a great day, just a day full of emotions that ranged from super happy to like sad. But I made it.
So fast forward, we're in San Antonio now. How are you feeling today? Where are you today after 10 years?
10 long years. No, I'm kidding. It's always so cliche when people say there's a reason why other things don't work out or things happen the way they happened. And now looking back, I see why it didn't work with other people. Like, would I have liked to have been younger when I got married? Of course. Nobody ever expects to get married in their mid-30s. You always expect to marry like your college sweetheart or, someone right after college. But I'm thankful that those relationships didn't work out so that I could be with you and just enjoying life with its ups and downs and thankful to be where we're at.
And so I thank you. I appreciate you. I love you dearly. And thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
And to finish this, what is your favorite thing that you like to do to me that I consider as torture?
Well, there's more than one thing. I like to scream babe at him and then he gets upset because he's like, why do you do that? And then I love to tickle him till he can literally stop breathing, which in my defense, I have not done that in a very long time. Also, in my defense, I put that in our vows. And yeah, so I have to keep doing that until I die or you die.
She likes to bite too and grab a lot of ass.
No.
She think my ass should be on OnlyFans.
Yes, it's gonna be onlyfans.com/ass for days.
Thank you, Sarah, my love, my wife, part of my Dixon duo, who puts the duo in. So I appreciate you. I love you.
I love you too.
And I appreciate you doing this. All right.